Okay, first thing we need to do though is get to work on that soup. Now, when you're making soup, typically when you're making a tomato soup, you grab a can, you open it up, you do it in the thing, you rinse it out with water, you put more in. That's an easy way. This soup technically does start with a can, but we're going with a can of fresh tomatoes. So we've got some canned whole tomatoes here. This is like picked at their prime of ripeness, super delicious, really easy. And this is the easiest soup in the world because all we're gonna do is dump those tomatoes onto a sheet pan, which feels wrong. Like it feels like we're already off to a bad start, but it's all gonna come together. It's gonna be great. So into there, we're gonna add in some flavor seasonings because I'm gonna actually roast these tomatoes. That little bit of liquid is gonna cook down and get a little caramelized, giving you a ton of flavor, and you don't really have to do anything. Just pop it in the oven and you're good to go. But onto there, while those tomatoes roast, I'm also gonna roast up some garlic. So I've got 4 cloves of garlic here. They've got the skin still on as well because that's gonna help them stay sweet and not burn. So I'm gonna go right on there. I've also got some shallots here, 2 shallots. I've got these ones halved a little bit. You can cut them up a little bit finer if you feel like it. I'm gonna go in, just chop them up. Just a rough dice is all you really need. And we're gonna go on the pan with those shallots as well. If you don't have shallots, you could always use like a red onion, a white onion, that would work as well. Now, to season that and give a little bit of herbiness, I'm going in with about 5 to 7 sprigs of thyme. That's an annoying measurement. Basically, a handful of thyme is all you really need. Who doesn't, though? You know, thyme, T-H-Y, T-I-M-E, we got it. We're picking it up, we got it. All right, so I'm just gonna throw those on there, and then we wanna season this a little bit. So the first thing I need is a couple teaspoons, weirdly, of sugar. Sugar really helps tomatoes taste a little less acidic. It takes a little bit of that tinniness out of them as well. So 1 or 2 teaspoons is absolutely perfect, just to season those up. Then I'm gonna season that up with some salt and a little bit of pepper. And then just to get things going, I'm gonna go on with about a tablespoon of olive oil. That's all we really need for this beautiful soup, just to bring a little bit of fat into the mixture, just to get things getting to know each other, just to coat that garlic and stuff. Then for an added hit of a little bit of kind of deep flavor, a tablespoon of balsamic vinegar. Super great. You can, don't use your fancy stuff, just use whatever you got hanging around. Tablespoon of that goes right on. Beautiful. I'm gonna give that a toss to combine. You just want everything to be a little bit coated in that oil or that tomato juice, and that's gonna roast up absolutely beautifully. So as is, we're gonna pop this into a 375-degree oven for about 35 to 40 minutes. That's gonna cook down, it's gonna get caramelized and absolutely beautiful. Once that cooks down, you're gonna get a little bit of catching, a little bit of golden brown going on, but that's exactly what we're looking for. Here are some that have been going for about that 40-minute mark. And as you can see, you get a little bit, I would call this over caramelization, which is the best flavor. See, most of that moisture has cooked out. Those tomatoes have cooked down and concentrated their flavor. You're gonna get some roasted situations going on as well. So that's looking absolutely beautiful. But while that cools until it's cool enough to handle, I'm gonna come over here and we're gonna talk about this gnocchi. So I've got gnocchi in a pan here, looking absolutely beautiful. Now, I use the store-bought gnocchi, the one you get in the like vac-sealed package in the pasta aisle. This stuff is really, really great. You technically don't have to boil it. You wanna use these ones, pop them in a pan over medium heat with about 2 tablespoons of butter. You could also do oil here. I like butter though, because it kind of gives you grilled cheese vibes. Always a good thing. And I've been cooking those down for about 8 minutes, giving them a toss every once in a while, just until they're golden brown. Now, these are not gonna have that like fluffy gnocchi texture. They're gonna be really chewy and really, really delicious. They give a ton of texture, ton of flavor, a little bit of crisp as well. So I'm very happy about that. Now, I promised you cheesy gnocchi. So what we're gonna do now is in this pan, I'm gonna go over with about 3/4 of a cup of grated Parmesan or Reggiano cheese. Yeah, scatter that all over that gnocchi. Looking beautiful, and as soon as it hits the heat of the pan, it starts to melt. Now, if you didn't have Parm, you could use Pecorino, you could do this with cheddar, you could do it with Gruyere, any sort of cheese you're feeling is good. The first thing you wanna do though is grab a lid, and you wanna cover that pan just to trap some steam. That's gonna help the gnocchi or the cheese on top of the gnocchi melt a little bit. Then we're gonna crisp it up in a second. So while that does its thing, I'm gonna talk about these veg again. So over here, I wanna pick out all those sprigs of thyme because those have done their job. They've infused their flavor. So I'm just gonna dispose of those, get rid of them. Any little thyme leaves though that fall off of those sprigs as this is cooking, leave them in the soup. It's gonna give it a little hit of flavor every once in a while when you find them. This is the only tricky thing is locating all the thyme sprigs when you're searching through the pan for those. But what we're also gonna do is we wanna squeeze that garlic out of those kind of casings, out of their skins. That's gonna give you such a beautiful roasted garlic flavor, and they just pop right out. So just grab them, give them a squeeze, looking beautiful. Spread that on a piece of toast. I'm a happy camper. What a delight. Oh my gosh, this one's a huge one. Look at that garlic clove. Okay, get all of that out of there. Anytime especially this time of year, I'm roasting things down, I love roasting some garlic. Just pop some wrapped in some foil into your oven, give it a roast, and you are good to go. Super tasty, added to like a mayonnaise or anything like that. But now we're gonna add this on into, ooh, it's a little warm. Careful, Mary Berg, we got this. We're gonna add this into a pot with about 2.5 cups of broth. You can use chicken broth, you can use vegetable broth, whatever you've got hanging out, and you wanna scrape off as much as you can. Even some of this kind of caramelized bit, that's gonna be absolutely beautiful. So pop that right into the broth. I like about 2.5 cups of broth. That gives you still a thick soup. If you like it a little bit thinner, feel free to use a little bit more. Just reserve some and you're good to go. So we're gonna go in with that, looking beautiful. I can already tell you I missed a time sprig, so I gotta go hunting. Where did she go? There she is, found her. 1, 2, 3. Nailed it, okay. Perfect. Now, that's been going for about 1:30 seconds, so I am going to take the lid off of this gnocchi, and do you see this? All that steam has melted down, but we wanna get that cheese nice and crispy, so I wanna leave it in the pan still going with the cover off for about 2 minutes. That's gonna give you that crispy kind of frico, crusty cracker situation on the bottom of those gnocchi, gonna be absolutely beautiful. So while that does its thing, we're gonna finish up this soup. So into there, I'm gonna go in with a tablespoon of tomato paste. That's gonna give really rich flavor. So I'm gonna add that right on in. You don't necessarily need this, but this does really hit the kind of tomato soup thing home. Super delicious. I'm gonna give that a little bit of a blitz now. I'm using an immersion blender, so stand back, everybody. So this gets a little bit messy. Perfect. If you wanted to, you could also do this with a classic stand blender. That would be absolutely wonderful. But like, look at how creamy this looks. I am so excited. You smell the roasted garlic. You see those beautiful tomatoes. And honestly, if you had a can of chopped tomatoes, those would be beautiful as well. You could also do this with like a can of pureed tomatoes, that would work. Now, to just kind of amp this up a little bit, I'm gonna go in with a little bit of cream, just for fun. Just for fun. So about half a cup of cream, never hurt anybody. I'm going in with whipping cream. If you had coffee cream, that would work as well. Pop that in, give that a stir. I think there's a clap for a cream. I'm feeling good about that. This is beautiful. That is looking stunning. I'm very thrilled about that. All right, that's looking great. We're gonna serve this up. Do you see this golden brown gnocchi situation happening here too? So I'm gonna get a nice bowl of this creamy, beautiful tomato soup. And then as opposed to doing a grilled cheese on top, we're gonna top it with this crispy gnocchi. So come on over here. We're gonna take it over here. To really add this and give it a little bit more oomph, I love adding a spoonful of pesto into my tomato soup. It gives it like a really good flavor boost, freshness. So just pop that right on in, a little bit of a swirl, and then get that crispy gnocchi. Give it a flip over. Get ready, you'll see the golden brown. That crunch, that crisp, looking beautiful. Oh, that's a good piece. There you go. Hey, Mary here. What did you think? Drop your comments below and don't forget to like and subscribe for more of the good stuff.